Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
We're proud to announce that YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company vidIQ, as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 10 million viewers.
We are proud that we have more than 1,000 new subscribers in the last month, and that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
Over 500,000 of you have watched this show in the last 90 days. We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the LGBTQ community.
There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Thursday, January 23rd. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Hotspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 10,000 LGBTQ television stories. We will produce the 25th anniversary of our Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 anchors will host this show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet today's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Cindy Brown. She was an early organizer of the Miami AIDS Walk and the White Party for Care Resource. She is the programs director for the Lambda Living program at Jewish Community Services, and she also serves as the founding executive director of Miami Beach Pride. Cindy, Mayfaire Medical and XRX Pharmacy grand opening is scheduled on January 30th. Tell me, what's happening?
Well, this is very exciting. Mayfaire Medical and XRX Pharmacy will host their grand opening on Thursday, January 30th from 6 to 8 p.m. Located at their new facility, the event celebrates a commitment to providing compassionate, inclusive healthcare for the LGBTQ community, especially the trans community of South Florida. Attendees can meet the team of experienced doctors and healthcare professionals while enjoying hors d'oeuvres and beverages. This milestone marks the creation of a welcoming space where care meets community. For details, you can visit transsocial.org. And I actually spoke to Morgan earlier today, who is one of the co-founders of Transsocial, and he said to me, wants to make sure everybody knows that everyone under the umbrella is welcome, LGBTQIA and our allies. And he also said, quote, "We want to be an open, caring facility where everyone is welcome and treated well. You can come as yourself. You don't have to hide yourself, and we aren't going anywhere." So this is exciting. It's great for the community, and I'm very happy for Morgan and Ashley and the rest of the Transsocial
Yeah.
team. Vaughn, you're
Yeah, they sit on a couple of councils that I'm on, and it's just amazing to see the work they're doing and the people and what they're doing with this program. So it's going to be great for the community.
Yeah, yeah,
Did you see our Raji was in the picture too?
yeah,
Great.
Yeah, they're great.
yeah. Wonderful folks.
Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Mayfair Medical and XRX Pharmacy grand opening on January 30th. Let's welcome anchor Yvonne Rohrbacher. Yvonne was the publisher of the first gay Yellow Pages in the 1990s and the founding VP of our Pride Center. Currently, she's associated with One Fine Day, the Women's Fund at Stonewall Museum and Library. The Lesbian Thespians and now Queer News Tonight, Yvonne, an awesome female comedy show by Erin Foley is happening in Wilton Manors on February 1st. Tell me, what's happening?
All right, I'll give you the 411 first here. On Saturday, February 1st, nationally headlining comedian Erin Foley makes her Wilton Manors debut at the Hideaway on 26th. Presented by the G Girls of South Florida, this highly anticipated event starts at 7 p.m. Erin is known for her appearances on Conan, At Midnight, and Chelsea Lately. Tickets for the event start at $20, so visit thegirls.com for details, THEGGIRLS.com. And don't miss this night of laughter. It's going to be so great. And the wonderful thing is the venue where you'll find this is where you're going to find some other imaginative women's events going on now. It's next to the Wilton Collective on 26th. There's a small venue, and Karen Trainer and the G Girls are coming up with the coolest ideas to add to what has been increasingly more and more women's get-togethers, connection opportunities, and events, and arts even over the last couple of years. So she's at least twice a month, maybe a little more. She's finding something really cool to do in that space for women, and it's just awesome.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy to see, lots of women's events and things that that are around. Since
Especially
there are
in
no
Manors, yeah.
and there are no women's bars, as we all know.
Yeah.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the G Girls of South Florida event with Erin Foley on February 1st. Let's welcome anchor Larry Farver. Larry has over 20 years of experience in human resources, acting, film, radio, TV, live events, parade float design, production, and casting. He does it all. He is also a member of the Westside Association of Wilton Manors Board. Larry, the city of Wilton Manors is hosting an inaugural pickleball tournament on Sunday, February 2nd. Tell me what's happening.
Yes, the city of Wilton Manors, in collaboration again with the G Girls of South Florida, will host its inaugural pickleball tournament on Saturday, February 2nd. The event begins at 8 a.m. at the newly renovated Hagen Park pickleball courts. Open to all skill levels, this non-sanctioned social tournament follows USA Pickleball guidelines and aims to foster community spirit. Teams can register for $40, competing for gold, silver, and bronze medals, along with prizes. Visit thegirls.com or wiltonmanors.gov. I can't talk today. wiltonmanors.gov for details.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's exciting. I'm glad to see that they're sponsoring that event. And there's so much excitement, being involved in the Westside Association board and then, interacting with our town government. It's going to be a nice addition to Hagen Park, and it's exciting.
The last time I played pickleball, I sacrificed myself for a shot and realized that, Cindy, you're too old to be doing that.
Did you dive in the sand?
No,
there's
there is no sand.
Did you jump over the net?
So I had nice little strawberries or raspberries, whatever they call on your leg. I fell. I totally wiped out. But I love to watch the other girls play. I'm just not doing it anymore.
My niece suggested the same to me after a few tries.
I've not played yet, and I want to. But,
I do too.
Just be careful.
Yeah.
If they come out with some padded courts,
Right, there we go.
then it'll be okay.
Well, then it'd be hard to control the ball.
Yeah. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at
player.
the inaugural pickleball tournament on February 2nd. Let's welcome anchor Gregg Shapiro. He is an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg, Mr. and Miss Palm Beach Pride Pageant is on February 3rd at the Lake Worth Playhouse. Tell me, what's happening?
The Mr. and Miss Palm Beach Pride Pageant 2025, hosted by Compass LGBTQ Community Center, will be held on Monday, February 3rd from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Lake Worth Playhouse. The event will feature South Florida's top drag and performance artists. This is an adult-only event that Velvet Lenore and Melissa St. John will host. Applications for contestants close on February 1st, which is coming up. General admission presale tickets are $20. Visit CompassLGBTQ.com for more details. I think this is a great reminder that there is a thriving and active LGBTQ community just north of us in Palm Beach County. I love Lake Worth, and Compass, which is hosting the Mr. and Miss Palm Beach Pride Pageant, also hosts Palm Beach Pride, March 29th and the 30th this year. It's a terrific organization, so let's get in our cars and let's go north.
Absolutely.
And I
It's
did
beautiful.
notice on the flyer that was up on the screen that it's a drag queen and a drag king.
Me too.
And if
yeah.
you, and then probably if you don't want to drive, you could take the Bright Line.
Bright Line, of
Bright
course.
Line.
Yeah,
Yes.
I took the Bright
Is there a
Line.
station in
Oh,
Lake
fun.
Worth?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
there you go.
Absolutely.
Do I look like a drag
We're in.
king?
No.
We'll
That's
work
an
on
audience.
it. We'll work on it. You know what I have to say is I love
No, you have to.
costumes.
Big
Yes.
Right?
You just dressed up.
I went to
love them.
a gay Halloween party in drag one time. Boy drag, you know. And let me tell you how many guys hit on me. It was hilarious. All these gay men thought I was a little twink or something. But yeah. Go,
Queer News
Mr. and Miss
Yes.
Palm Beach.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Mr. and Miss Palm Beach Pride Pageant.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, Von Biggs. He's a community outreach coordinator at Holy Cross Health, a vice chair of the Ryan White Part A Planning Council, and a founding board member of TransEd. Von, the Cookout 2025 Black History Month celebration is on February 1st at Mickle Park. I'm getting hungry already, so tell me what's happening.
That's right. You know, this is great. This is, this has happened several years in a row. And so Hotspots Magazine Happening Out presents the Cookout 2025. It's a free Black History Month celebration on Saturday, February 1st from 1 to 6 p.m. at Mickle Park. Guests can enjoy free entry, parking, food, music, and cash prize tournaments, including a $150 spades tournament and a $75 dominoes tournament. Drink sales from the event will benefit the nonprofit Legacy Builders. Highlights include a JetBlue flight raffle and can testing, a Kids Zone raffle, and a public reading of the city's Black History Month honoree proclamation. Visit hotspotsmagazine.com for details on the tournament registration. You know, First Lady Kendra is going to actually be the one that's leading on stage this time.
Awesome.
So I heard that announcement today from her, so that's really great. She did that last year and did a great job. It is free food. It's a great event to come to. It should be a wonderful opportunity to come out and network, bring family, kids. It's a big social event. So
It'll have warmed
I'm
up. by
putting it in my
Exactly,
calendar
yes.
right now.
barbecue.
Free food.
I'm just you got
Should
you
be
got
a
me
lot
at
of fun.
barbecue.
Right?
So,
Yes. Love me a good cookout. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Cookout 2025 on February 1st.
now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Von Biggs, and let's queer up politics. McBride says Trump's new anti-trans order means, quote, everyone a woman from conception, end quote. United States Representative Sarah McBride has critiqued a major flaw in President Donald Trump's anti-trans executive order. Trump signed an order stating the U.S. government recognizes only two genders, male and female. The order defines the gender based on reproductive cells at conception. However, basic biology contradicts the order's premise. As McBride pointed out at the Independent, McBride explained, quote, all human embryos follow a female developmental path until the activation of the SRY gene several weeks after conception. Therefore, Trump declared everyone a woman from conception, end quote. This scientific fact means human embryos are phenotypically female before the sexual differentiation begins. McBride, the first openly trans congresswoman, provided a vigorous rebuke to Trump's executive order. In his inaugural address, Trump claimed he would end, quote, social engineering of race and gender, end quote. Other orders include scrapping diversity policies, ending birthright citizenship, and pardoning January 6 offenders. I'm glad Sarah is there. That's all I can say, because I'm glad that she's able to do that. And I know I have a big soft part in my heart for our trans siblings. So I'm glad to see that we do have people in the LGBT community, in Congress, in Senate, and they're to help fight against these issues.
Thank God we at least have that progress already.
Once again, science stumps Trump.
Right.
And how much do we love Sarah? I'm hopeful that this vigorous rebuke will not fall on deaf ears, and that before long the felonious POTUS and his freaky followers will realize the folly of their fraudulent ways.
Wow. How poetic.
He feels strongly.
It's appropriate that
I love it.
It's poetic from you, right, Gregg? Well, yeah, I mean, speaking truth to power, and I think now is the time that everybody needs to speak their truth.
Yeah.
And
I'm super gratified about the stories that we have today and the ones we're all hearing, that people are already openly doing that, which will hopefully be a snowball starting down the hill of everyone being willing to speak out much more than we've had to probably ever.
yeah,
That's how empowerment starts, right?
I agree.
Right.
yeah, I'm going to do a story coming up on another brave woman speaking truth to power in a very big way.
Yeah.
So,
So important.
the more that happens, maybe the more pressure will be put on their agenda to either change the agenda or you're out of office. And, hopefully the political system works the way it should be.
Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Cindy Brown, and let's queer up faith. Bishop urges Trump to show mercy on LGBTQ and immigrants. President Trump attended a prayer service at Washington National Cathedral on Tuesday. Episcopal Bishop Marion Edgar Budde used the occasion to advocate for immigrants and LGBTQ rights. The sermon came after Trump's sweeping immigration crackdown on Monday, when he signed executive orders tightening border security and restricting asylum. He also issued an executive order to dismantle all DEI programs, Budde said. Budde said, quote, "There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives," end quote. She also urged mercy for immigrants, highlighting their vital contributions to the U.S. economy. She emphasized, quote, "They may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals," end quote. Trump, however, appeared visibly displeased during the sermon, calling it boring. He also called Budde nasty and criticized her on Truth Social, calling her a so-called bishop and a radical left hardline Trump hater. Budde's remarks went viral on social media, and then billionaire Trump supporter Elon Musk jumped in, echoing Trump's sentiment, saying, quote, "She got the woke mind virus real bad," end quote. Ooh, woke mind virus. Okay. Trump 2.0's approach and policies have stoked fear among immigrant families and queer individuals. Budde's message reminded Trump of the moral obligation to protect vulnerable communities. She concluded saying, quote, "I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands. Our God teaches us that we have to be merciful to the stranger," end quote. Trump, the GOP, and a very conservative Supreme Court invoke God and faith-based rights over others. It appears that it depends on whose so-called religion and faith in God you are protecting. Here is another strong woman speaking truth to power, and everything about what the new administration is doing and Project 2025 is diametrically opposed to what the so-called Christians are saying. And they'll stand in front of their maker one day and it'll really come down. But I am so grateful to folks like her, although I don't have any real religious affiliation now. I did grow up in the Episcopal Church. And they have always been out there supporting the rights of everybody. So thank you.
I'm a member of a church that thinks that all religions are pretty much right, and they would all be diametrically opposed to the idea that Mr. Trump obviously has absolutely no clue about the real message of the supposed religion. I mean, he shouldn't have even been in that church.
No.
Right.
He has no idea what the message even is at any religion, in any religious document, because he unfortunately sees the world through a completely opposite set of eyes.
Well, he's a puppet. He's the Heritage Foundation's puppet right now. He doesn't have any original ideas, including the fact that he was boring, and yet he hauled out nasty again because he has such a limited vocabulary, and he is basically illiterate.
Well, it reminded me to dig out my Nasty Woman t-shirt from last time I was president.
Bringing it back. And how much do we love Bishop Buddy? Another brilliant mind taking on the mindless MAGA and Muscovite morons, but doing it mercifully.
Doing it again. You're so awesome tonight.
He's merciful, and that's too early to proclaim Bishop Buddy Person of the Year, but I think she gets my vote.
Awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. They are publishing her business mailing address and I think email all over social media right now for people to send her thank you cards.
Right.
I mean, I get it that she might get other stuff because of them doing that, but it is a business address, so hopefully it won't just be her looking at them.
Express your gratitude.
Yeah.
And I think that, they took out the fact that we can open up hate speech now. I mean, they've removed the filter, so to speak.
Yeah.
But so if they get any pushback, then it's like, oh, how dare you? Everyone's attacking her. Like, what Bible are you reading from? Or things like that. And it's like, but yet it's okay for you to say those things, but not.
Double
that's
standard.
why we don't
Double
fact check anymore, is because
Right.
Mr. Trump would not survive well under that.
Yeah. Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Yvonne Rohrbacher, and let's queer up the world view. Hundreds of LGBTQ couples tied the knot today in Thailand. Thailand made history yesterday as it legalized same-sex marriages, the first in Southeast Asia. Activists celebrated decades of work with over 1,000 marriage registrations on the first day. Thailand became the third Asian territory to legalize same-sex marriages after Taiwan and Nepal. The new law amended the Thai civil code, changing husband and wife to spouse. Parliament flew rainbow flags, and shopping complexes hosted pride events to mark the occasion. A mass wedding in Bangkok saw 200 couples exchange vows in diverse attire, from Thai outfits to ceremonial uniforms. LGBTQ group Bangkok Pride aims for 1,448 registrations and plans to compile figures from ceremonies nationwide and then submit a request to Guinness World Records. District offices nationwide and Thai embassies overseas are also open for marriage registration. Former Prime Minister Sveta Savasin, who was premier when the landmark legislation passed in 2024, called the day a victory for equality. Despite progress, there are still some challenges to overcome. Legal definitions of family still exclude queer couples. Nonetheless, Thailand continues to inspire hope for greater LGBTQ inclusion in fellow Asian countries like India, where the LGBTQ community is still fighting for marriage equality. This is the happiest story so far today, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just wonderful, and thinking about all of the places where even just Florida, the various states around here, how we had those huge crowds. But for them, it was their whole country. Right. Any Thai could start getting married today. Yeah. That's so awesome. Yeah. And I had a really cool gay marriage experience recently, and I know there may be people worried, as this couple was, that I married. I had the privilege of marrying two friends of mine 2 weekends ago. And it got me excited about maybe doing a little more marriage officiating again. It's been a while, and during COVID, I just kind of let it die off that I really enjoyed doing that. But we had a great time. But can you imagine why they wanted to get married before January 20th?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. I mean, he could have done something to try to throw a monkey wrench into the works on that first day if he wanted to. Whether it was legal or binding or not, he could have, and it could be any day.
Well, good thing he doesn't have any influence over Tyler.
Yeah, that's right. And it's so exciting that it was anybody in the whole country could get married all on the same day.
10 years or so ago, I went to Bangkok, and I met with some of the folks from Bangkok Pride. And I am so happy that this has come to pass, because it was one of the things that we talked about. It was kind of like a LGBT, fact sharing kind of trip. And I'm proud of them and so happy for them. And awesome. Beautiful.
We look at what the things that we're going through right now in our country, but it's nice to see other countries that are embracing the LGBTQ communities and expanding, their reach, and it gives us hope.
Right. Yeah, yes, every little bit helps with that sea change that eventually very few cultures will be able to ignore, and especially not a big one like ours.
Right. Well, and it is sad, though, as we are returning to our puritanical roots.
Not for long.
I know. I hope.
2 steps forward, 1 step back, I always say.
Right, exactly.
Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Larry Farver, and let's queer up the USA view. Trump fires Admiral Linda Fagan for excessive DEI focus. In a controversial move, the Trump administration fired U.S. Coast Guard Commandant Admiral Linda Fagan. Fagan, appointed by President Biden, was the first woman to lead a U.S. Armed Forces branch. An anonymous senior official from the Department of Homeland Security revealed that Fagan was dismissed by acting Homeland Security Secretary Benjamin Huffman due to leadership deficiencies, operational failures, and inability to advance the strategic objectives of the U.S. Coast Guard, end quote. Fagan's excessive focus on DEI initiatives was also criticized. Elon Musk, a Trump confidant, supported the decision. He posted on Twitter saying, quote, undermining the U.S. military and border security to spend money on racist, sexist DEI nonsense is no longer acceptable, end quote. The U.S. Coast Guard has struggled with issues like racism and sexual assault. Fagan took steps to address these, including creating the Diversity and Inclusion Education and Awareness Program. However, inclusion does not seem to fit well with the Trump 2.0 administration. Democratic Senator Maria Cantwell has defended Fagan, calling her firing a bad precedent. Representative Joe Courtney also slammed the decision as an abuse of power, saying, quote, under Admiral Fagan's leadership, the Coast Guard exceeded its 2024 recruitment goal for the first time since 2017, interdicted over $2.5 billion in illegal drugs from bad actors in 2024, and demonstrated an aggressive commitment to countering adversaries in the Arctic by championing the Ice Pact to speed up production of new icebreaker vessels, which in the U.S. has not built in nearly 50 years, end quote. Fagan's firing comes after Donald Trump signed an executive order on concluding DEI programs. The order said these programs, quote, demonstrated immense public waste and shameful discrimination, end quote. Well, I'm personally just disgusted with this whole thing. Being an HR professional for over 20 years, Linda Fagan had a career of service since 1985, so almost 40 years.
Wow.
And it's shameful. We all have to be strong. We have to seek out our leaders to, fight this wave of craziness, lunacy, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's scary.
Well, he should recognize shameful discrimination because that's exactly what he's doing.
Yes.
Exactly.
And he's firing people like he's still on The Apprentice.
Yes.
I long for the day when he fires himself.
Yes.
You don't get to Admiral very
Without-
easily.
yeah.
No.
Without proving yourself.
No.
You
That's
do
a
not
long,
get to that
illustrious
status
career-
at all.
career.
So,
And look at her achievement.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, that's what the goal of the Coast Guard is,
Yes.
and she has fulfilled that goal.
And beyond, yeah.
And I can bet you the morale of the Coast Guard members in general is probably much higher.
Well, they succeeded at their recruiting goals
Exactly,
for the first time in a long
because
time.
people want to join the Coast Guard because of the work that she did. Well,
We'll see the results now.
yeah, well.
Absolutely.
Now that
Shame,
she's
shame,
gone.
shame.
Yeah.
and Admiral Fagan, we thank you for your service.
Absolutely, we
will
do.
see you again, I'm
100%.
sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'd like
Right.
to write to her too.
That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Gregg Shapiro, and let's queer up the USA view. Elon Musk defends controversial Nazi salute. We are not surprised. Elon Musk has responded to critics after accusations of making a controversial salute. The tech billionaire was at the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. on January 20th. He made the gesture during a speech celebrating Donald Trump's inauguration. Trump had been sworn in earlier that day as the 47th U.S. president. The gesture has been compared to a Nazi salute by some critics. The Anti-Defamation League has also noted that neo-Nazis often use this salute. CNN anchor Erin has called it an, quote, an odd-looking salute, end quote, while UK journalist Owen Jones also drew comparisons to a Nazi gesture. Responding to the criticism, anti-LGBTQ Elon Musk shared a post on Twitter. The post read, quote, frankly, they need better dirty tricks. In another post, the everyone is Hitler attack is so tired. Can we retire the calling people a Nazi thing? End quote. To which he replied, yeah, exactly, with a yawning emoji. No matter how much Musk downplays the gesture, people are questioning the sincerity of Musk's clarification. Not everyone is Hitler, moron. I mean, Elon. However, if you were able to grow a mustache, there is little doubt that your tired plastic surgery disaster puss would bear a striking resemblance to Der Fuhrer.
I mean, it was clear what he did.
Yes.
Anybody who saw it, who knows what a Nazi salute looks like, would go,
It
hey,
was almost like he
that's a
exaggerated
Nazi
it on
salute.
purpose.
And it, I believe, just like when somebody said, Proud Boys, stand tall, stand by, it was a message.
Of course.
He did that
Yes.
for all of these anti-Semitic, racist, homophobic people out there throwing meat to the base. I mean, the amount of anti-Semitism that exists in this country right now is unbelievable. And it's gotten worse and worse. And over these next 4 years, Jewish community services, that's an important thing for us. And we have hundreds of Holocaust survivors. How do you think they feel watching, someone who is supposedly the president's right-hand man making a Nazi salute on national television and defending it?
Jubilantly. I mean, he was just like
disgusting.
the happiness was just pouring out of him while he was doing it.
No, their roles, both Trump and Musk, they're here to represent us, and they don't have that representation for all in our communities.
Absolutely not.
No.
Disgusting.
Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ and allied community.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your family and friends. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Vaughn Biggs, and on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Cindy Brown, Yvonne Rohrbacher, Larry Farver, and Gregg Shapiro, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ world, we hope you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, be transformative, and queer. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.